In a remote part of the forest, far away from civilization, stood an old cabin that had long been abandoned. Its weathered wooden boards and broken windows made it a grim silhouette against the backdrop of towering trees. Legends spoke of strange happenings surrounding the cabin, of a family that had mysteriously vanished years ago, the air thick with the scent of fear and the whispers of the lost. Despite the spine-chilling tales, a group of friends, Caitlin, Mark, Tyler and Jenna, decided to spend a weekend there, hoping to prove that the stories were nothing but local myths. They packed their bags, laughing off the ominous atmosphere as they drove deeper into the forest. As twilight descended, the shadows of the towering trees stretched across their path, thickening the air with a sense of foreboding. The friends reached the cabin as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting eerie silhouettes around them. The door creaked open with a loud groan, and they stepped inside, flashlights illuminating the dusty interior. "Looks like we're the first folks here in a while," Tyler joked, pushing aside cobwebs that hung like veils in the corners. They settled in, lighting a fire in the small stone fireplace, and the warmth of the flames chased away the biting chill. That night they shared ghost stories, laughter echoing in the empty space. Caitlin, emboldened by the firelight, began to tell the local legend of the cabin. "They say a family was driven mad by something in these woods," she recounted, their faces illuminated by the flickering flames. "The mother went insane and took her children into the forest one night, never to be seen again." Jenna shivered, pulling her jacket tighter. "That's just a story to scare kids, right?" As if on cue, the wind howled outside, rattling the windows, and the fire flickered ominously. They exchanged uneasy glances but brushed it off, determined to enjoy their weekend. Later, as they settled into their sleeping bags, a soft scratching sound came from outside. Caitlin, half awake, sat up and listened intently. "Did you hear that?" she whispered. Mark rolled over, already irritated. "It's probably just a raccoon or something." But the scratching grew louder, now accompanied by a faint, distant child's laughter. A cold dread settled over the group. "That's definitely not a raccoon," Tyler said, his voice strained. Suddenly the noise stopped. Dead silence filled the cabin, stretching endlessly until Jenna suggested they check outside. Together they stepped onto the creaking porch, their flickering flashlights casting trembling beams into the shadows. The laughter had ceased, leaving an eerie void in its place. "See? Nothing to freak out about," Mark said, but even he sounded uncertain. The group returned to the cabin, shutting the door tightly behind them. They decided to turn in for the night, but sleep eluded them. As hours passed, Caitlin noticed something different. The fire had burned out, yet it felt much colder. She grabbed her flashlight and moved to check on the others. When she stepped into the living room, her heart nearly stopped. There, huddled against the wall, was a small child, their back facing her, shrouded in darkness. "Hello?" Caitlin asked, her voice trembling. The child turned slowly, revealing a face that was eerily pale, eyes wide and staring, devoid of life. The child said nothing but pointed toward the window, and as Caitlin followed the gesture, a shadow flitted past the glass. Panic surged through her. "Guys, wake up!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the suffocating silence. The others groggily rushed in, confusion etched on their faces. "There's a kid out there," Caitlin insisted, her heart racing. Jenna peered out the window but saw only darkness. "Caitlin, don't joke. You scared the hell out of us," Mark said, though he was clearly unsettled. But Caitlin was certain. "I swear, I saw him." She looked back where the child had stood, only to find the space empty, as if they had never been there at all. "Let's just lock the doors and stay inside," Tyler suggested, his voice shaking. They barricaded themselves into the cabin, the oppressive woods pressing in on them, the wind howling mournfully outside. But as night deepened, the strange occurrences escalated. Whispers floated through the air, whispering their names like a haunting lullaby. Shadows danced just beyond their vision, shapes that flickered and vanished the moment they turned. It became clear they were not alone. Desperate to leave, they grabbed their things, but when they turned to the door, it was stuck fast, as if something from the other side was holding it shut. Panic erupted. Pause 3th. The air grew heavy with despair. Shadows twisted and surged around them, and the temperature dropped sharply. The group's breaths became visible in the icy air, mingling with the fog of fear that enveloped them. Pause 2S. Caitlin tightened her grip on the hands of her friends, feeling their shared terror. "We want to help you find peace," she repeated, her voice trembling but resolute. The shadows paused as if listening. Pause 2S. Suddenly an overwhelming force knocked them to the ground. The room spun and they found themselves face to face with the spectral images of the family trapped in the cabin's curse. Their eyes were hollow, filled with an eternity of sorrow and pain. Pause 2S. "Why are you here?" Caitlin asked, her voice barely audible over the oppressive silence. Pause 2S. The spectral figures began to speak in unison, their voices echoing from the depths of the cabin's history. "We were betrayed, cursed to remain here until we find forgiveness, until our story is told." Pause 2. Mark, shaking with fear, managed to ask, "How can we help you? What can we do to set you free?" Pause 2S. The spirit's eyes turned to Caitlin, the one who had dared to confront them. "Tell our story, break the curse, only then will we find peace." Pause 2S. Jenna, her voice breaking, asked, "But how? How do we break the curse?" Pause 2S. The spirits pointed to the old, crumpled doll in Jenna's hands. "The doll, it holds our pain. Destroy it, and we will be free." Pause 2S. Tyler, filled with a newfound determination, took the doll from Jenna. "We have to do this," he said, his voice steady. "For them and for us." Pause 2S. As Tyler raised the doll, ready to smash it against the stone floor, the shadows around them shrieked, writhing in anticipation. With a final, powerful blow, the doll shattered, and a blinding light filled the room. Pause 2S. The spirits began to dissolve, their faces softening with relief. "Thank you," they whispered, their voices fading. "You have set us free." Pause 2S. The light grew brighter, enveloping the group, and when it finally dimmed, they found themselves back in the cabin's main room. The door, once stuck fast, now stood open, leading to the safety of the outside world. Pause 2 as they stumbled out, breathing in the fresh air, their hearts pounding with the realization that they had survived. The curse was broken, and the cabin, now just a memory, stood silent behind them. Pause 2 as they walked away, Caitlin looked back one last time. "We did it," she said softly. "We gave them peace." Pause 2 years. And with that, they left the cabin in the woods. Forever changed by the night, they confronted the shadows and set the spirits free.